Morning from Flash's Garage. This is Chris Sauer of Flashpoint Auto Fab and Frame. Today we're going to continue working on Neil's 912 race car that we're building. And today, since we're going to have a fuel cell in this area, this is going to be a complete race car, we can fill in this hole here that was meant for the stock gas tank because air is free, and we can take advantage of the aerodynamic advantage of having that closed in. But we're going to keep these the stock lip down here for rigidity, because as this car is cornering and everything, you know, you want this car rigid. So we will make the panel out of this material here. We'll put some bead rolls in there and a nice step, and then we will TIG weld it in, and it'll give the car a nice aero advantage under there, downforce, but not too much, because with low horsepower you don't want crazy downforce. But it'll be just a nice clean finishing touch, and then we can, you know, go ahead and mount our fuel cell and all that. We'll have videos on that, of course, too. But now is the time to do this before I really finish grinding and cleaning up the front end. This is just kind of rough in here. It's all welded, but it's got to be fluffed and buffed now. There's a lot of stuff, you know, got to be cleaned up and ground. But now's the time to put that panel in, so that's what we're doing. So we'll walk you through how we do this today in Flash's Garage. See you soon. So right now what we're going to do is put some B-rolls in this. I was thinking about doing a step, but it's not a huge panel, and the B-rolls will give it plenty of rigidity. I'm going to go downward towards the ground with the beads. And it's real simple. It's just a real simple panel. It's going to be a flat panel with a break up, because the back, as you can see, the back pan has curvature in there, but we want to keep our panel low. So we're just going to do a nice 90-degree bend once I get done doing this, which is called bead rolling. Very simple. Everybody does it. Don't want to go too deep. You just got to remember the amount of rounds you go. And just keep the panel nice and flat. Simple as that. And stay on the line, which can be challenging. And then you have to make sure you stop on your cross line. That's always fun when you don't. So what I see here is I'm going to have to do this again, because I am not deep enough. And let's see what the hell we got going on. Make sure that's lined up okay. So I see I'm not deep enough, so I got to go another round. And this is tricky because you got to make sure you're back in the same spot, or you're going to screw up the panel. So 1, 2, let's go 3. And you just got to make sure you stay on your line. This is 18 gauge steel, so it's pretty thick. This is essentially going to be part of the floor pan now, so you don't want to go too thin. Beautiful. See how that's not too deep? Not too deep. If you go too deep, too much pressure, you're going to end up warping your panel. And we don't want warpage. Which especially, you have to be really careful when we get to the welding part, and the TIG welding part. It's especially essential to watch your heat, or you will warp the hell out of this thing. You don't want that. I think that was 3. Find out. Sometimes you might go a little too much and you feel like the panel's gonna have too much of a line, and just back off slowly as you go. Anytime you stop, you have a risk of going crooked. So if you have too much pressure going, you can always carefully, as you're going, take a round out. is old school, simple fabrication here. But this is the kind of stuff that'll set your car apart from other people, and you're taking advantage of air that's free.
People ask me, do I miss having a shop? Yes, I do, because this is like working in a shoebox. You gotta do most of the stuff outside. And if it's raining, it's going to be a challenge.
There we have it. So here's the panel with just 3 simple bead rolls in it. Gives it nice rigidity, you know. And then this will be the underside. And it'll be all cleaned up and welded and nice, sexy. We have a break up here for the back to make up for the, you know, the shape there, because we want to keep the panel low for aero. So I will check back with you after I get this cut out and start welding it in. All right, so now we got our panel made, we got our panel fitting. So we're going to TIG weld this in, but before we TIG weld, we're going to put a MIG weld every few inches all the way around. Got to trim a little bit with the grinder all the way around. It's MIG weld, tack welds, watching our heat. And then once it's all tacked, we'll grind it down to a really nice finish, and then we'll TIG weld it. And in the back, we will flush cut it with an air saw, make it flush in the back. Get a shot here, Joe. So basically, that's what we got now. So we'll get this all tacked in to where it's gapless. We'll bring these two together, air saw it so it's flushed in, and then we'll TIG weld around it, and it'll be a nice finished floor pan in there, and it'll give it a nice nice rigidity to it. Talk to you soon. Thank you. All right, good morning from Flash's Garage. We're continuing on Neil's 1967 912 race car, and yesterday we made this panel here, and we tacked it on with the MIG welder. Okay, so today we're going to come back and we're going to TIG weld all this and finish it, metal finish it, and it'll look like it'll look like it's part of the floor pan. So here we go, and then once we get all that done, then we'll do all our finish work under here, because none of this is finished yet, obviously. None of this is dressed, so here we go. So we're going to slowly TIG weld this, and we're looking for penetration. We're not necessarily looking for sexy. We're going to run right over these MIG welds. I mean, sometimes you want to grind the MIG welds down, but it really doesn't matter. You want penetration, and you want a little hotter, so it kind of makes this transition round. When you grind, you don't want square and knocking all the weld off. You want to kind of melt it in so it makes it round. So we're not really going for sexy here. Let me get my hair on. You also, when you're TIG welding or MIG welding, you also want to keep everything cooled off. Because if you're too hot, you're going to warp the hell out of this panel, and it'll look terrible. So now we're going to skip down here, and we're just going to kind of skip around. just go a little at a time. Go a little at a time, all the way around, cooling it, and just doing like inch and a half increments. So you're all welded. And then again, you know, with the TIG welding, you won't have any pinholes. It's a nicer, it's a little bit of a softer weld, yet strong, and it doesn't put a lot of heat into the metal. Because of course we're going to be grinding it all the way in anyway. The MIG weld is a harder, kind of a nastier weld. It's actually, the weld is harder than the material that you're welding. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to TIG weld this whole thing around, metal finish it, and we'll do another video of me metal finishing. Okay, so here we are with our pan. I kind of just ground this edge where I did, but you can see it's a nice clean edge. You know, we'll come back and we'll detail this a little bit. No pinholes, nice clean edge, and it looks like you know, the pan we made is part of the floor, and it adds a lot of strength to it. So this is where we're at. We'll go around and weld the other side and clean and grind that, but it happens to be a Sunday. And I'm in my neighborhood in the cul-de-sac, and I think the neighbors are about to have enough of Flash's garage. So we are in the process of finding a shop. We had a shop in Jacksonville where we did primarily Porsches, and we're going to continue that, and we do quality metal work at Flashpoint Auto Fab and Frame. But I'm going to continue doing these videos, Flash's garage, and we're going to continue on Neil's 912. Next week we're going to start doing the fuel cell. We're going to mount a fuel cell. We have a fuel safe fuel cell, and we're going to be mounting, you know, doing the structural mounting to that, and you'll see how we do it. At Flashpoint we do a lot of things that I learned from NASCAR. I see a lot of classic vintage road racing stuff, and the safety is pretty sketchy, and I'm not about that. So we're going to do a little bit of NASCAR flair to our work, because I believe they just need to be a lot safer in the vintage cars. So that's where we're at, and so we'll be doing some more videos, and then my cameraman Joro, me and him are going to be going to the World of Outlaws of Volusia County Friday night as spectators. So I will try to get some video from there. I know I was going to try to get some at Daytona with Rich and all that, but we were just so busy working on that car with the Empire Sports Group, and we had a good run until we just got caught up in somebody else's accident there. So, but anyway, stay tuned to more videos. So that's it. That's our pan. It serves two purposes. It gives you structural rigidity, and it closes it off. It's arrow, you know. It's basically essentially a flat pan, and having it drop down like this using the stock lip, we actually gained, you know, the thickness of the lip, which is about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch, and we can actually get that fuel cell really down low, and it'll come out. You know, the lower you can get stuff, the better. And after we do the fuel cell mounting, we are going to start looking at how we're going to mount the seat, and that'll tell us how far back our hoop bars and stuff are going to be when we design the cage. And we're going to be bending up the cage and putting it in ourselves and designing our own cage. So stay tuned. We got a lot of cool things coming to Flash's Garage. If you could, please like and subscribe to my videos, and be looking forward to news on a shop soon. Thank you.